Sorry for the wait, but I'm finally back with another how to counter video. Now last time we covered Vivian and I asked you guys to vote for who you wanted next. The votes were overwhelmingly for Inara or Terminus, mostly Inara. Now I did take a while to make another one of these, as you guys know, and back then Inara and Terminus were top tier. Right now, Inara is upper middle tier, I guess you could say, and Terminus is bottom tier. So I'm not really positive if a how to counter video on them is as desired as it was before. So what I've decided to do is make a how to counter video on somebody that people in every tier seem to have problems with. And that is Talus. From Bronze to Masters, I see and hear people complaining about our little Squadron all the time. So I figured he'd be the best one to come back with. Now I do still want you guys to be the ones to pick what order I do these videos in, with the exception of new characters if they release in a problematic state, that is. So I'm very sorry for taking so long and forcing my own hand here. In the comments of this video, go ahead and vote for who you'd like to see a how to counter video on next, and I'll most definitely do it within the next week so they don't have time to fall off. If you guys still want Inara or Terminus, then go ahead and vote for that once again. Remember, all you have to do is put their name in the comments, and if you see that name is already there, you could just leave a like on that comment if that's more convenient for you. Now, let's talk about Talus and what makes him so difficult for players to deal with sometimes. For one, he's very small and quick, and that makes him difficult to hit. But on top of that, his rune gives him an instant escape that can get him out of nearly any situation. This can be a very frustrating combo to deal with, because even if you manage to hit him enough to take him out, he can just leave, wait for his rune to get off cooldown, and come back for you. And if he has his ultimate, he doesn't even need to wait for the rune to come back, because his ultimate will teleport him across the map to you, and you're probably already low from the first time you fought him. So yes, I can understand why Talus has become so disliked in the community, but just like every other character, there are multiple ways to counter him, and once you know how, he isn't nearly as annoying. So let's start off with his ult, because there's a lot of people out there who believe it's impossible to counter. And being an ult, it should be relatively difficult to counter, but still possible to counter, and I think Talus's fits that. CC immunity and abilities that make you untargetable all counter Talus's ult. For example, stuff like Eevee's Ice Block, Grok's Ghost Walk, and Zin's Billow. Abilities like that save you from Talus's ult by making you untargetable. Invisibility will also save you from his ult in the same way. However, if you're not already invisible when Talus ults, your reaction time needs to be spot on or he's going to target you anyway. You need to turn invis the second you start to hear him scream if you're going to counter that ult. Then there's of course CC immunity. Grok's CC Immune Totem will get you out of Talus's ult, and CC cleanses like Maeve's Artful Dodger will also get you out. There are also several different ultimates that give you CC immunity, so you could trade your ult for his, and depending on the situation, you can get him to waste his ult while still getting value out of yours. Let's use Leon as an example here. Let's say you're fighting somebody and Talus ults you. Well, as he's traveling towards you, pop your ult and use it to kill whoever you're fighting. Not only will you stay safe, but you'll also get the kill, 50% of your ult back, and all of Talus's ult wasted because once he starts traveling, he goes down to 0%. If you do it while he's winding up, it'll only waste 30% of his ult, so keep that in mind. Now, these two things aren't technically counters to his ult, but they sorta are, so I want to include them. If Talus is affected by Strix or Maeve ult while he's ulting, then he won't see any indicators, but if he gets lucky, he can still target somebody if he's looking in their direction. Now, while he still could get the ult off, it'll be very difficult to do so because he'll have to guess, so that's why I sorta consider it a counter. Now, what about Talus himself? How do you counter his base kit, since that's what you're mostly going to be up against? The best class for dealing with Talus, and really any flank, is Frontline. With their massive health pools, they can kill Talus before Talus kills them. Some of them also have the tools to limit what flanks can do through CC, and flanks hate CC the most, out of any class. Now Talus can teleport out of everything, but not on command. If he's stunned or silenced, he can't teleport away. He can only teleport away in those situations if his rune timer runs out. So as long as you deal with him early, he won't get away. Here's some examples of what deals with him. Inara's Crippling Field will keep him from teleporting back on his own. You just need to kill him before he gets out of it. Her ult can also stun him to keep him from teleporting back as well. Torvald can silence Talus, and as long as he doesn't break line of sight of the beam, he can't teleport away. This gives Torv's teammates plenty of time to get the kill on him. Torv can also bubble his teammates, making it difficult for Talus to kill them. A Thanks Grandpa bubble will also save allies from Talus's ult as well. Then there's Makoa, who is technically a counter, but not in the way Inara and Torvald are. Makoa can hook Talus, but Talus can immediately teleport away once he's pulled in. Makoa's allies would have to help him kill the Talus before he can teleport, but that level of coordination isn't really something you find a lot in public games. Now Makoa could also possibly take out Talus by hooking him with Pluck while the Talus is at half health. This will allow Makoa to kill him in one hit and before he can teleport. Well, at least sometimes. I don't really know if this is a bug or a weird latency problem, but it's possible for the Talus to teleport out before Makoa can get off the hit. So Makoa is a pretty inconsistent way of dealing with Talus when he has his rune up. But hooking a Talus will always get him to use his rune, and this will cause the Talus to wait to engage again until his rune is off cooldown, or it'll cause the Talus to engage without his escape up. So you're basically always going to be able to trade a hook for a rune at the very least. Now of course, tanks aren't the only ones with CC. Bomb King can stun Talus with his Grumpy Bomb and kill Talus with 2 bombs. Bomb King can also kill Talus in 2 stickies without the Grumpy Bomb if you're skilled enough to land 2 with Chain Reaction. Drogos can also do this with Fusillade as well. This will practically always kill Talus before he can react and teleport back. Going back to CC, Bomb King's ult will one-hit Talus, but even if it doesn't, it'll leave him stunned and unable to teleport back if you manage to catch him off guard with it. Then there's this funny but effective one. If you manage to find a Talus rune, you can stack bombs around his rune and detonate them when he teleports back. Now keep in mind, he does have immunity frames for half a second when he teleports, so don't detonate them too early. Shaolin can also stun Talus if you impale him against the wall. However, the only way to kill a full health Talus before he teleports back without any help is by planting him immediately afterwards. If you take the time to fully draw a second arrow, he will have enough time to teleport back. Outside of cripples and stuns, there's also slows. Now, slows don't stop him from teleporting, but they can easily prevent him from advancing and force him to teleport back immediately. Pip slow is a good example, and while we're talking about Pip, let me go over this. Some might think that it's a good idea to ult Talus as Pip because it prevents him from using his abilities, so it would in theory be an easy kill, right? Well, nope, for some reason Talus can teleport back while polymorphed, and it'll cleanse off the polymorph on top of that. Can you believe that? That is crazy. Now, I'm not going to name every character that has CC, but you get the idea. CC counters Talus, especially stuns and cripples. Don't be afraid to use alts like Eevees and Maldambas on Taluses that are causing your team a lot of problems. Now, I want to talk about the Torv-Talus combo because if a Torv is pocketing a Talus with Thanks Grandpa, then Talus doesn't have to worry about his weakness to CC. When it comes to dealing with Torv-Talus, you have to get that bubble off, and you have to get it off quickly. Enough team shouting can make that happen, but you're not always going to have that level of coordination with random teammates. But there is Wrecker. Wrecker will get that bubble off very quickly, and then you can proceed to CC and kill the Talus. Now, here's my recommendation when it comes to getting Wrecker for Torv-Talus. Get it on fast fire rate characters, and here's why. If you get Wrecker on something like Drogos or Shaolin, that'll still add an entire shot to the TTK, and they fire slowly. So Talus still has some safety time to get free damage on you, and that could win him the fight. Not to mention, if you miss with such a low fire rate character, you're basically dead. But if you get Wrecker on something like Victor, his fast fire rate is going to completely melt the barrier away like it was never even there, and if you miss a bullet or two, it's no big deal because you fire so fast. I mean, look at how fast Victor breaks that barrier and proceeds to melt Talus. If you're able to see him coming and hit him with a nade on top of that to get the bonus damage, then he's gonna melt even faster. This was something I tried out in the scrim against an experienced Torv-Talus combo, and it worked wonders. So to wrap it up, basically stay aware so you can see him coming, then CC the little guy and proceed to kill him. Now remember, I want you guys to vote on who you'd like to see next, and next week I'll have a how to counter video for that character out for you guys. So be sure to vote in the comments below. And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank you all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye!